21 minutes past the hour. This is Arthur Brooks sitting in for Hugh Hewitt, and this is the Hugh Hewitt Show. Well, this segment we're going to talk about something that really concerns a lot of people who listen to this show regularly, and we're going to talk about Benghazi and a few other things. And I have a wonderful guest who's one of the most important experts on this matter. He's not going to let it die. He's representing you, dear listeners, on this important matter. I'm talking about Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. He's been a United States Senator since 2003. Before that, he served in the United States Air Force, the state legislature, and then in the U.S. House of Representatives. He's a foreign policy expert. He's a great friend of many of my colleagues at the American Enterprise Institute, and it's an honor to have him with us. Senator Graham, how are you?
Well, thanks, Arthur. Thank you very much. I finally got some information. I'd be glad to share with you about Benghazi.
That's great. Before we do that, I want to ask you one quick question,
Sure.
However, about Obamacare. You tweeted something about your own health care costs. Can you share that with us?
Yeah. As a member of Congress, I have the option of going into the District of Columbia exchange, and as the law is written, members of Congress and our staffs will continue to get a federal government subsidy. It's like 70%, depends, means testing. Probably 60% of the actual cost would be subsidized by the employer, the federal government. Well, what I've decided to do is not go into the D.C. exchange, but go into the South Carolina exchange. I'm a South Carolinian, and I'm going in without the subsidy, just to kind of demonstrate to people what awaits them. So I'm a 58-year-old short white guy, and my premiums, taking the bronze plan in the South Carolina exchange, are going to go up 200%, $400 more a month. The deductible and co-payments go through the roof, so I'm paying probably over $5,000 in additional costs for less coverage. And that's what's going to happen when your employer withdraws coverage for a lot of people throughout this country.
There's a lot coming, isn't there? A lot of bad stuff.
The second shoe to drop, Arthur, is next year when employer mandate has to be complied with, the waiver, the year expires in 2015. September and October of next year, employers are going to be looking at the cost of fulfilling the mandate, and you're either going to pay a lot more to keep your coverage through your employer, or the employer is going to drop coverage and put you in the exchange because it costs too much. The other shoe is about to drop. What's happening to me is going to happen to a lot of people in this country.
All right, you heard it here first. This is from Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator from South Carolina, who I'm delighted to be speaking with right now. Now, back to Benghazi.
Okay.
Now, everybody listening to this show knows that in 2012, on 9/11, Ambassador Chris Stevens and 4 other Americans were killed.
Right.
The Obama administration blamed a video bogusly, turned out to be completely false. It was a timed and planned al-Qaeda attack. Where are we on getting to the truth? What can you tell us?
Now, you got to remember the setting here. This was just less than 2 months before the election. So you have a narrative going on. Bin Laden is dead. We've left Iraq. We're withdrawing from Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda's on the run. That was the storyline of the Obama administration. Then along comes Benghazi.
Right.
Well, why is it important that they blame this on a video? If the truth had been known that it was a coordinated, pre-planned terrorist attack with an al-Qaeda affiliate involved and former Gitmo detainees, there goes the story that al-Qaeda is on the run and terrorism is receding, and the war is turned. So this whole video protest storyline, I'm trying to find out how it got started. So here's what I can tell you. After over a year, I finally got to talk to the second in charge of the FBI. And here's what I asked him. Did anyone on the ground in Benghazi, State Department types, that were interviewed the 15th, 16th, and 17th of September in Germany, just days after the attack, did any of them say anything about a protest based on a video? And the answer was no. All of them said this was a terrorist attack. And I finally talked to the first survivor, and that person indicated that it was a terrorist attack. He reported it in real time as a terrorist attack. He saw people run through the compound, heavily armed, carrying banners, and it turned out to be Ansar al-Sharia, the al-Qaeda affiliate in Benghazi, and that they were under attack from the time they left the compound in Benghazi, went to the CIA annex until they got, convoyed out.
So did they know this? Did the administration know this?
This is the point. If the people on the ground are reporting in real, I asked the guy, did you say anything that could be construed as a protest? And he said, no, sir, there was no protest. There were gun trucks surrounding the compound. I said, we're being hit, we're under attack. So no one that I've talked to thus far has ever indicated there was a protest caused by a video that turned into a riot. The guy that I'm talking to was a security officer on the ground who told me in real time he reported a terrorist attack and indicated, that they're being hit by armed, terrorists. And so days after, the entire group there in Benghazi, State Department types, were interviewed by the FBI, and the FBI told me, we never reported to anyone in the entire government this was anything other than a terrorist attack.
That's unbelievable.
I said, did the FBI in any memorandum or report ever indicate there was a protest? He said, no, sir. We called it a terrorist attack from day one.
How are you going to keep this alive? I mean, the Obama administration's got to want this thing to drop.
What I'm trying to do is play Sherlock Holmes here. So if the people on the ground at Benghazi, the people who were attacked with Ambassador Stevens, if they never told in real time, reported a protest, and if days later they were interviewed by the FBI, the first interview being on the 15th, where did this story about no evidence, where did Susan Rice come up with this story of a protest? So what I'm going to do is try to talk to everybody, every survivor I can get my hands on, and ask them, did you say or do anything to create an impression there was a protest outside the consulate? And the guy said, sir, there was no protest outside the consulate. I was outside, a short period of time before the attack. They came running through the gate. Now, the FBI agent, the second guy in charge who's now retired, a good guy, said, I've looked at the file. There's nothing in our file to suggest there was a protest. No one mentioned a protest. It was always a terrorist attack. So I'm just going to keep digging. I'm going to keep talking to people on the ground until I find out where the hell did this story about a protest come from. Then I also asked the guy, were you concerned about security? And he says, yeah. We'd reported that this place was not very secure, that the militia, February 17th Brigade, that was supposed to be our quick reaction force, was very questionable at best. We kind of outsourced protection to this Libyan militia group, and people were very worried about their reliability. So there's more to come. And, it's just been fascinating to finally get into the guts of the story after a year, to finally talk with somebody about what's actually there.
That's amazing. Well, I think we're all very grateful that you're on the case. A lot of people are very worried that this is going to drop. This is obviously what the administration wants it to drop. This is inconvenient. But Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina is on the case, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about it. We're going to be up next with calls. Get them ready. 1-800-520-1234. This is the Hugh Hewitt Show. I'm Arthur Brooks. Don't go anyplace. We've got a lot more to come.